Hi, this is Gary Rosenzweig with MacMost Now. This is my new favorite keyboard. It's the new Apple keyboard. It's really thin, feels great to type on, and it doesn't take up much room on your desk. But it got me thinking, what other cool keyboards are there? I mean, there's got to be a whole bunch of weird different things. I've seen them from time to time. So I compiled this top 10 list. Let's take a look at some of the strangest keyboards you ever see. The first one here is the RollUp Keyboard by Denovo. And I love the idea of an ultra-transportable keyboard, even if it's not that easy to type on. This probably is also pretty easy to clean, and it only costs about $30. And I think they make it for all sorts of different devices too. So if you have like a BlackBerry or some other small portable PDA, you could probably use this one to type with it. And that's probably true of anything that can take a USB keyboard. Okay, this one's probably the coolest keyboard of the entire list. It's a virtual keyboard. It's just this little device that just stands there and projects a keyboard onto a flat surface, and then you can type with a flat surface. I have no idea how this actually works, although I can make some guesses having read a lot of science fiction. But it seems to be ultra cool. The only problem is it's pretty expensive. It's $150. But hey, it gets you really uber geek status. And speaking of uber geek status, I think this is probably the ultimate. It's called DOS keyboard. And as you see by the picture, it's got nothing on the keys. That's right, they're totally black. It's basically a black keyboard with black keys. Anyway, you got to know where to type. So it really establishes you as super uber geek. I'd be impressed by anybody that uses this keyboard. Okay, suppose you want your keyboard to be a little more three-dimensional. Well, here's two keyboards for you. The first one is the Mallet Rent keyboard. And this strange looking keyboard is supposed to be ergonomically something and be a little bit better for you to type on once you get the hang of it, of course. It's really expensive, $600. Here's another one called the Safe Type keyboard. And this one takes it completely vertical on the sides. I'm not exactly sure how you're supposed to type on this, but it looks really interesting. Anyway, both of these keyboards come in left and right-handed versions, so make sure you get the right one for your right hand. Or maybe you like your keyboards a little bit smaller than even the Apple keyboard. Well, there's two for you that don't even have a full set of keys. This first one, the Frogpad, is $150, and it's got a very unique set of keys. It's also a left-handed and right-handed version, and I suppose it's something you have to learn how to use, but afterwards you can just type one-handed. Here's another one that's specifically meant for gamers. It's the Wolf King Warrior keyboard. And this also doesn't have a full set of keys. I'm not exactly sure how you're supposed to type on it, but I'm sure once you get the hang of it, you can go pretty fast. And this one's only $30. Here's probably the most normal looking keyboard of the bunch. This is the Denovo keyboard from Logitech. Now, it looks normal, but it's got a ton of features, like it's Bluetooth, wireless, it's got some ultra great types of key sensitivity, and it's got a little scrolling pad on it, and it seems to have tons of function keys. So if you want basically a normal keyboard, but one with a lot of advanced functionality, this might be the one for you. It's a bit expensive though, $200. Okay, now here's the strangest keyboard out of the bunch. Strange because it doesn't have any keys at all. It's the Orbit Touch, and it'll cost you $400. But it's probably the most unique thing. Supposedly you manipulate these orbs with your hands and somehow form letters from them. I'm not really sure how this works at all, but I'm sure it's probably be a great conversation piece. Now, no conversation about cool keyboards is complete these days without talking about the Optimist. Now, the Optimist, this one here, looks like a normal keyboard from this viewpoint, but what it actually is each key is a little LED screen, so the character on the key can change. Now, this is a pretty expensive keyboard. I see price estimates anywhere from $1,200 to $2,000. It's not actually out yet. However, they have some cheaper options. For instance, there's a $500 version that only has a changing LCD on the spacebar. And there's another one that has 12 function keys that change. But the big one, that's one of the ones that's going to cost you the most money. Anyway, this certainly is going to become a really cool keyboard. I mean, you could switch from regular keyboard to Dvorak, or you could special gaming keys, or whatever you want to do. Probably can do all sorts of cool special effects as well. Not sure if it's going to be worth the money, but if you've got the money to spend on a keyboard, this is probably the ultimate one to have. Now, an important thing to think about when talking about these keyboards is that not all of them work with USB. Now, all Macs have USB keyboard inputs. In the PC world, there's these things called PS2 keyboard inputs, which they still use even though they're antiquated. So some of these keyboards use PS2 connections. You can get a PS2 to USB adapter pretty easily in just about any sort of online store. So make sure you get either the right type of keyboard or this type of adapter for it. And also, if you're going to look for an unusual keyboard, make sure that it doesn't need some sort of special drivers that are only available on the PC. These are all pretty cool, but you know what? I'm going to stick with this one. Works just fine. Hope you enjoyed this look at unusual, crazy keyboards. This is Gary Rosenzweig with MacMost Now.